Hi, I'm the Space Quest Historian. A quick follow-up to the recent news video on the new Ken Williams game. Yes, I'm calling it the Ken Williams game now, for reasons you're about to find out. Shortly after I posted the video, Ken posted an FAQ on Facebook with answers to some of the more lingering questions that I and others had, one of which details the involvement of Roberta Williams, which Ken says is important, but minimal. Roberta is not involved in the actual design of the game. She was inspiration for it, and she has been consulted almost daily, but in terms of actually designing and developing the game, so far it has all just been Ken and Marcus. And Marcus, you'll remember, is the gladiatorial jeweler turned 3D artist and programmer that broke the news to me a few days ago. So while Roberta is involved in the game, I'm going to start calling this the Ken Williams game because it's mostly Ken's project. And this is really interesting because in all the time he was CEO of Sierra Online, at no point did he ever really have a game to himself. Ken never designed a game for Sierra. When he and Roberta started the company, she was the game's enthusiast and he just wanted to run a successful business. So a small but important detail that has so far been overlooked in all of this excitement is that this is actually the first Ken Williams game. At least the first commercially sold Ken Williams game, at least to my knowledge. Anyway, another key point mentioned in the FAQ is that this is not the educational game that Ken had talked about in previous interviews and podcasts. Roberta apparently talked him out of that, and this is an entirely different thing. Marcus described it as Sierra-like, but that could mean anything. The company published anything from adventure games to flight sims to fucking bass fishing simulators. Oh, and Half-Life, in case anyone remembers that little blip on the radar. The reason why we haven't actually seen any of the game yet is because the game currently only has placeholder graphics. Marcus is currently working on doing all of the 3D modeling and animation, and the programming is already done. So in theory at least, once the graphics are in place and they've added sound and music, they've got a finished game on their hands. And then it's time for beta testing, and I did tease that a bit in my previous video. They're not quite ready yet to recruit beta testers, but if you want to be added to a list of possible beta testers, you can send Ken an email at ken@kensblog.com. And finally, is this the start of a new career for Ken and Roberta? Will Ken make more games? Will Roberta make her own new game? The short answer is, we'll see. At the moment, Ken is doing this for the fun of it, and they are funding the game development themselves using a very small team. As he puts it, they're not actually interested in building a new company or even to make good money off of this game. It's just something they're doing for the sheer joy of it. That's not to say they'll give it away for free. If you've read Ken's book, you know there's no such thing as a free lunch in his world, but I am personally happy to see that it's the simple joy of creating it that's fueling him. I mean, remember, this dude started out as a programmer. He wasn't particularly keen on computer games. Sure, he liked them, but it wasn't like a passion of his. He didn't start Sierra Online because he wanted to be in computer games. Again, Roberta was the games person in the family. Ken wanted financial stability and was prepared to work his ass off to get it. And that's how Sierra Online got started. And that's why I find it so fascinating that this game is, in fact, going to be, most likely, I probably should have asked, but I'm going to call it now anyway, and I can always retract it later, the first published Ken Williams game ever made. So, that's the update. There's a link to the full FAQ from Ken if you want to go read it yourself in the description of this video. Take care, and I'll see you around the Chrono Stream. Bye!